Hi. There are way more of you back there than I thought. Hi, I'm Donna, and I'm honored to be with all of you here tonight. I'm a teacher of students with autism spectrum disorders in Braintree. I've been working with kids with autism for about 18 years, and I've learned how important connections are when working with kids of all developmental levels. When I first started out, I did what everyone told me to do. In my extensive training in college and in workshops where I learned about theory and specific strategies for success regarding curriculum and behavior and social skills, I learned appropriate interventions and how to collect data and analyze that data. I did it by the book. While I learned to be very consistent, clinical, and systematic, something was missing. Then I got to know the kids, and that's where the magic started. Teaching for me begins with an individualized relationship with each student, each child. I have to be a keen observer to get to know what makes these kiddos tick before I can even think about expecting them to be engaged learners. I watch in a variety of situations for what the child seems to like and dislike, learning where his or her personal space seems to start and end. How long do they pay attention to the things that they like most in this world? What stereotypy is present and what seems to be the function of that stereotypy? What does this child gravitate to, and how can I use all of these things, all of this information, to hook this child into having a working relationship with me? I play with kids to hook them into learning. I find value in what they find important and make time for that in our day as well. Yes, even their stereotypy, trying to give that stereotypy a more typical function when possible. I find that once I've created that bond with the child, their engagement in learning and work activity is more connected and meaningful. I create a level of respect that is individualized, meaningful, and mutual. It's a real relationship, a respectful give and take. Before they know it, they move from playing to working. When working with kiddos and families, I often refer to aha moments. I was asked to come here tonight to tell all of you what an aha moment is like. An aha moment is when I look into a child's eye and can tell that they have just, in that moment, learned something new. That is truly amazing. During an aha moment, my heart is pumping as we have worked so hard, so closely together to prepare for this very moment. I have the privilege to see the child perform a task for the very first time, or I get to see that look of understanding on the child's face. They're often wide-eyed, seemingly surprised at the connection that they've just made. I knew this was going to happen. Oftentimes, the child will then look at me as if to say, "Did you see that?" We then have a moment together, a moment of pride, a teacher proud of her student and a student proud of himself. It's pure joy. These aha moments occur more frequently for some students than for others, but in my class, they are celebrated each and every time they occur. As an educator, this connection is the fuel to keep moving forward. I'm reminded of one particular student that I worked with in Braintree for 2 years. He was a motivated youngster who enjoyed a variety of activities at school. He was included in a first grade classroom for English language arts, for specials, lunch, and recess. He was not, however, motivated by math. I wasn't either. He struggled to stay engaged and he performed significantly below age level. I remember having a conversation with him about math in particular. He informed me that he couldn't see himself in math. I wasn't really sure what that meant, but I could feel my mind starting to work on overdrive. He didn't feel a connection to math, so obviously I needed to make it personal for him. With his parents' permission, I took a bunch of pictures of him, went home that night, and printed them out. At midnight, I found myself at my dining room table, gluing them onto plastic bottle caps that I had been saving for such an occasion. I went in the next day, we began working through some math problems. Actually, the same math problems we had done the day before. I then pulled out the counters, and I watched his eyes. He began giggling and telling me how fun math was. And after a week of intense practice, with his new counters, he was motivated and engaged. Then he was included in math with his typical peers in the first grade classroom. It's these little modifications that can bring about such important change. Aha moments in the making. Creativity and flexibility are keys in helping to support and create these moments. This is a simple aha moment that offered this child more time with his first grade friends and gave him access to his first grade curriculum. Motivation is just so important. Without the ability to motivate kids, we as educators don't have much. People think my job is challenging. They say I have the patience of a saint or that I have a special place in heaven. What they don't know is the love that I feel from my students. The hope and admiration that I have for my students has molded me. Through the years, it's changed me. Each one of these aha moments has changed me. I appreciate the small things in life. I stay present in this moment because that's what my students need. I feel so lucky to have been teaching students for so long, because I'm going to get old. And to be able to work with these wonderful families. I would be remiss if I didn't call out all of the heroes in this room. If you're a parent or a caregiver of a child with autism, would you please raise your hand? These are the people who make a difference. Every day, their honesty and dedication is what allows us to be a team with focus and determination for their child. I just feel so grateful to have the opportunity to work so closely with such an amazing team of parents, families, and professionals every day. What I had learned in college, grad school, and the many other professional development opportunities I've had gave me the tools to work with kids. But it's those aha moments that keep me so closely connected to my students and families, that keep me up at night adapting and creating new academic programs and materials, that keep me on the phone with neurologists and pediatricians, on my own time to offer continuity of services. It's these moments that keep me motivated and passionate about my job after all these years. The work that Autism Speaks is doing is so important to all who are touched by autism. I'm grateful for the connections that are being made in supporting these kiddos and families in research as well as in fundraising. Thank you so much for the opportunity.